Hi, my name's Josh, and I help women over 55 who are struggling with bloating, gas, and urgency reclaim their lives, feel better in their gut, find clarity in their food choices, and adopt the lifestyle that is shown to prevent and reverse our leading killers of heart disease, diabetes, and many different cancers. The reason I'm speaking with you today is that women and strangers on the internet are asking, what is your story? What did you find that works? I'm struggling. I'm in pain. I'm a teacher and I can't leave class. I'm a coach and I'm coaching people, but I'm struggling. What can I do? So I'm going to give you 5 things that really changed my life. I have a much longer video. You can delve into them. But here's a quick list. Number 1, understanding that I had a problem. So when I shared that I had stomach aches and stomach pains with my family, we were taught this is normal. We all have stomach aches, right? We've been taught that things are normal. And what is normal in America, right? What is normal for Americans doesn't necessarily make it healthy. So 97% of Americans don't even reach half of the recommended minimum for fiber a day, right? So it is normal to have stomach problems in America, right? But it is not normal to be in pain. So number 1, realizing that I was not okay. Number 2, going to the doctor, doing all the tests, being told that they couldn't find anything wrong with me, right? Colonoscopy, endoscopy, we don't see anything structurally wrong. How about you change your diet? So the doctor recommended a massive diet change. I said, absolutely not. That is way too much. I don't even like these foods. I can't do it. Um, he made a small recommendation. He said, if you're not going to do that, cut out high fructose corn syrup. So I cut out high fructose corn syrup, also ended up cutting out a lot of other foods that taste really bad when there's not sauce on them. McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, ribs without barbecue sauce. I lost 25 pounds in 2 months, and at that moment, I knew that there was something to what I was putting in my body. But before that, my 16 years growing up, I had no idea the connection between diet and disease. Number 3 is that I learned about the power of plant medicine, specifically cayenne pepper. So cayenne pepper has been shown in research in, I believe, Japan or Korea to help with IBS and acid reflux. I'm going to link that study because it's amazing. I recommend watching the video. But the short of it is, it's possible that 40 million Americans get food poisoning every year, and about 10% or 4 million people every year are going to have a hypersensitive gut based on that food poisoning. 16% of that 40 million will get acid reflux every single year, okay? So it is possible that suddenly you get sick and now your stomach's hurting for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, months, right? That's called a post-infectious gastrointestinal disorder. And they found that that can create a hypersensitive gut. So that gas, something that happens when you eat foods like sunchokes that I'm growing that have inulin, the fartichoke, right? Those foods are extremely important for your health, for short-chain fatty acids, for your stomach and microbiome to find support. But at the same time, if you're having pain from gas, you just can't keep going. And sometimes people go carnivore, they just cut everything out. The third thing that really changed my life was the low FODMAP diet. And I spent way too long on this diet. This is an elimination diet that works for, I don't know, 2 to 6 weeks, maybe 4 to 6 weeks. And like many of you, we've tried it because someone tells us to try it. We didn't work with a dietitian because insurance doesn't cover a dietitian, which it makes no sense at all. So we go online, we download an app, and we do the low FODMAP diet. We get out of pain from gas, and then we just stay there. So I stayed there for a year. I traveled through Argentina on the low FODMAP diet, which was about a year, and I was not getting better. I thought that I needed to control FODMAPs, thought that certain foods were safe. I was still struggling a lot and had no idea what was going on. But I was able to get out of pain. The interesting thing is that the low FODMAP diet really mirrors a traditional dieta. In Peru and in the Andes in South America, people in rainforested areas or in an area like this had to figure out, is this plant going to kill me? Is this plant something I can eat? Is this plant medicinal? And the way they did that is they took their diet down. They cut out salt, oil, sugar. They also had other spiritual practices. They avoided, TV. Obviously, they didn't have TV, but they avoided these other stimulants. They avoided any sorts of drugs. They avoided even sexual contact to really come into the body, to be present with themselves, and to be present with one single plant at a time. So I just spoke with a dietitian who we can partner you with if you would like to work directly with a dietitian. And she mentioned that the low FODMAP diet has been extremely successful and very difficult because it can get boring and tiring. You're on a very restricted diet and you need to go intentionally, one food at a time, right? And the spiritual aspect of this, to really sit with the plant, to really hear its teachings, to see if this plant is right for you or not. Because for me, I've identified certain triggers: avocados, orange sweet potatoes, too many onions, too much garlic, right? For me, I know these triggers because I simplified my diet. I reintroduced them slowly, and I was able to understand, okay, if I go over this amount, I'm going to have a bad time, right? So this is a really hard thing to implement. It is really hard to do it alone, and there are a lot of ways to do it poorly. But the knowledge of FODMAPs, the knowledge of FODMAP stacking, the idea that even something that is low FODMAP still has a little bit, and if you eat too much of something, you can struggle more than other people because of our sensitive gut. So that's number 3, is the low FODMAP diet. I'm going to go much more deeply, but for the sake of this video, I'm going to keep it short. Number 4 is the breath. So not related to my stomach, I tore my shoulder. I went to a physical therapist and he asked me, how do I breathe? I told him, I'm here for my shoulder. I don't know why this is important. He said, no, Josh, everything is connected and your breath is vital. So I want you to take a deep breath in right now. Does your breath look like this? Or this? Look in your mirror. See what happens. Do you go like this? Or this? So, this is a major difference. There is a right way, in my opinion, to breathe. And the way is to look at babies. Look at every single baby. I've not looked at every single baby, but I can assure you that children, when they come out of the womb, they take a deep, big belly breath. And when they breathe out, their stomach gets smaller. However, many of you and myself, when I was 16, took a shallow breath. And so we're unable to relax and we're unable to find calm if we're taking shallow breaths. So I encourage you, go on YouTube, look up how to breathe with your diaphragm. And if you're not already doing this and you do this every single day, you're going to see amazing results. I'm not saying your IBS is going to be cured, but what I am saying is that for me, urgency, frequent trips to the bathroom, being able to, has bought me time. Maybe 5 minutes, maybe to wait for my girlfriend to get out of the bathroom, maybe to get to where I need to go without stopping. So being able to tune in, especially if you regularly take shallow breaths, this is something that's free, easy to do, and can really change your life, just breathing, okay? So that's number 4. The 5th one is nature and being outside. We evolved outdoors. We evolved eating a diversity of foods. We evolved bending over, picking up these leaves, picking up violet leaves, which are edible, picking up plantain, which, by the way, this is a plantain leaf, Plantago rugelli. And right here is psyllium husk. So psyllium husk is Plantago ovatum. It's from India. This is a native plant to Atlanta. But the plant medicines that really sometimes help people's stomachs, some people, psyllium husk can be a lot. But these plant medicines are around us all the time. And there's a Native American saying that the cure is usually close to the cause. So the cause was our food. The cure can also be our food. And part of our food is not just going to the store and buying something that was shipped across the world, but identifying the medicinal plants here. And one thing about psyllium husk is you might have noticed it gets a little slimy, right? Feels a little weird. A lot of plants that grow here in Georgia, which we have a high diversity of trees, the leaves, just like the violet leaves all over the ground, are slimy. And imagine that slimy mucilaginous nature coating your stomach, which is one cell thick, coating that stomach to prevent leaky gut, which is possibly where your stomach ruptures, where the lining ruptures. And guess what? If you go on the carnivore diet, you cut all plants out together, the microbes in your stomach need carbohydrates to survive. And if they don't get them, they will eat your stomach lining. Eating your stomach lining. This is not the way that we want to go. So we can coat our stomach with these slimy, mucilaginous foods, but they're not easy to get in the store. Gumbo filet from sassafras leaves I've really enjoyed. There's basswood leaves here. There's an abundance. All of the mallows. There's of course we know about marshmallow, but hibiscus leaves. These leaves are very common in nature and very uncommon in our stores, probably because they go bad pretty quickly. They're not dehydrated. So, to summarize the changes, to know that I was going in the wrong direction, to be told that the food that I'm eating and putting in my body actually makes a difference in my life. I was 16 years old, and Dr. Clapper mentions, if we eat 3 meals a day every day for a year, that's 1,000 meals. I had eaten 16,000 meals of highly processed, standard American diet food. Very low in plants, very low in vegetables, very low in fruit. I just took vitamins. I thought I could just take vitamins, not eat food, not eat real food. Can't do that. Doesn't work. I learned about the power and healing of plant medicine, specifically cayenne pepper of all things, for $4 a year. Literally, this can make a massive difference in your life, potentially, if you can handle the pain, which not everyone can. Then I learned about the low FODMAP diet, right? I learned that there are foods that cause gas. Gas can be painful if we have some sort of viral infection that creates a post-infectious gastrointestinal disorder, creates a hypersensitive gut. So low FODMAP diet can get you out of pain, and that is what you need in order to understand the foods that you need to eat that are not painful. Because out of the FODMAPs, generally there's some you can handle. If you can handle them, you need to be eating them. And if you can't handle them, like me and avocado, what I do now is I microdose it. So my girlfriend loves avocado, and I've looked over photos where I ate tons, but sometimes too much avocado in my stomach, is a little bit more mucusy, let's say. Typically TMI, but I'm talking to a bunch of IBS people here, so, here we are. And maybe for me, I struggle to digest fat more than other people. So when currently, I'll have a sliver of avocado, a small bit to train my gut to get it thinking about it, but I don't want to overwhelm myself. It's certainly not while I'm traveling. So again, whether I'm fully healed, I think this is a constant state of equilibrium, right? It's a constant state of finding where is my edge, right? And what I mentioned in a longer video is that we have a point where gas becomes too much. Everyone does. If I give someone 10 cans of chickpeas, that's going to go over their edge. If most average people can eat the standard American diet and not feel pain, people with IBS feel all this pain. There's a way to get underneath this, but you don't want to just stay here your whole life. We want to raise this tolerance so that you can actually tolerate foods that are healthy for you that do cause gas, but that gas is a sign that your microbes are eating. And the last thing, getting into nature, being outside, learning about the connections. And I think that's what separates my program from almost anything else that's offered, is an understanding that you don't need to go to the store and buy a $60 capsule. The food, the medicine is right here under my feet. If I just ate, and it's not even being respected. It's not being used right now. It's being walked on, pooped on, peed on, right? This isn't, I do have these plants in my garden and I do eat from them. But the medicine and the food is all around us, and we need to understand that we evolved to be eating greens, even the slimy greens, regularly. So thank you for tuning into this talk. And, if this resonated with you, please give it a like, subscribe to my channel, and continue to learn. And if you're struggling with IBS or struggling with stomach pains and you need someone to talk to, you want to understand, why things are causing you issues, you want to understand how to get out of pain and how to form a relationship with foods that are healing, then that's what I do. I work with women over 55 who are struggling, who are needing some guidance, needing some clarity. And the women I'm working with now are able to get out of pain in 2 weeks or less. So while that is just the first step, They're able to see amazing results where they're getting off of their blood pressure medication with the support of their doctor. They're getting off their statins. They're getting off of their insulin if they're type 2 diabetes, or preventing becoming type 2 diabetic from pre-diabetes. So the amazing thing about this lifestyle, the amazing thing about what I'm offering you is not just that it will help with irritable bowel syndrome conditions, but also that this lifestyle prevents our leading killer, heart disease, and reverses it. Dr. Esselstyn and Dean Ornish. It has amazing, amazing efficacy for keeping you healthy as long as possible. I know we're not going to live forever. I'm not going to live forever, but I want to enjoy my life. I want to enjoy my retirement because traveling with IBS sucks. Seeing friends, going to events with IBS sucks, right? So I want to get you out of pain because I know what it feels like to be in pain. So if that's something that you're interested in, if you need support, you want to work with somebody who's been through this, who has the resources to support you, has the connections with the medical field, to work with the doctors, to work with the dietitians to support you, then I encourage you to schedule a call. Let's talk, let's hear your situation, and let's see if this is the right solution for you.